What's up, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel, Be On The Plate. I'm your host, Mo, and no, this is not your average food channel. This is food for thought. First and foremost, I want to thank my YouTube audience for continuously watching my videos, for supporting my channel. Those of you who have subscribed to my channel, I appreciate the love and support. Those of you who constantly comment, I appreciate your comments. Keep them coming. If there's something that you would like to hear my perspective on, hit me with a comment, and I'll be sure to elaborate on it and share my perspective on that. Secondly, I want to talk about Essential Teas and Some. That's my e-commerce store, which I developed probably a couple months ago. So this store is inspired by true events, life events. It's for the conscious consumer, such as a t-shirt that I'm wearing now that says "Give me 6 feet," and there's a number 6 on the back with the feet abbreviated. This store was created for the conscious consumer, meaning that I want to spread a message. First of all, the name of the store, Essential Teas and Some. I have a lot of shirts that have the word essential on it. I believe that a lot of people lose sight of who they are and they lose perspective. I mean, we can go into, people being stripped of their culture, people feeling subpar or less than or inferior to other people. And the whole message with this essential shirt is that we are all essential. We're human beings. No one is greater than anyone else. Yes, we are different in many ways, but we're all human beings and all lives matter and all lives are essential. Case in point, and just for example, I was thinking of when the whole COVID started, that they seem to separate essential workers from non-essential workers. And what came to mind was, how do you tell that single mother who works for a cleaning service, who has 3 children, who determines that she is not essential when she has mouths to feed like everybody else? So everyone is essential. All lives are essential. And furthermore, Give Me 6 feet clearly makes a statement, a bold statement. In light of what's happening in the COVID situation, and this seems to be sprouting all over again, we seem to be going through a second wave. People need to be constantly reminded that social distance is still in effect. So protect yourselves and protect each other. Support the store, because 10% of all proceeds go to families affected by the COVID-19. So be sure to check out Essential Teas and Some. The link is in the description below. Now, with that being said, so as we all know that I've been doing this YouTube thing for several months now. I'm happy of the outcome. I'm happy for the feedback that I've been getting and developing the channel. I'm especially happy of the content that I've been providing. Why am I so elated? Why am I so happy about it? Is because I talk about things that provoke thought. This is not a channel that is piggybacking off of somebody else. I'm not doing what everybody else doing. And yes, those channels are much more successful than mine. They receive more views than mine. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is not of any source of income to me. I do this strictly for the love of the sport, for the love of the people, and the lives that I can reach, or somebody that I can impact and deliver a positive message. And speaking of which, positive messages, I noticed that there are many channels that speak about life in prison. Now, information is information, and people want to know. However, what is the curiosity that people has. Why are people so gravitated to knowing or learning about what a fucking prison institution is like? Shouldn't you be focusing on what life is about, or whether you are maximizing your potential in this life? You know, how are you contributing to this life, not life behind four walls, not life behind bars in a fucking cell? And that leads me to say this. I've been in prison for 17 years. I went to prison when I was a child. I was 14 years old when I went to prison. And by no way is this going to be a fucking prison show, because you know what? We're trying to progress over here, not regress. In prison, there is no life. In prison, life out here does not matter. You have no impact. You are not a part of society when you're in prison. That's a whole nother fucking world. And a world that, you know what? Fortunately, I was able to make it out of there, because I was sentenced to 9 years to life, and I did 17, and I have life on the back, but I've completed parole several years ago. That was a success. I was able with no violations or anything like that. However, I could sit here and talk about prison, 17 years worth of fucking prison stories. But what does that do for the viewer? What does that, what am I providing to my viewing audience? Prison stories. Stories of how prison was. And I say was because the prison system is not what it used to be. Now they got tablets in there and they can go online and things of that nature. But back when I was there wasn't none of that. So I can't really speak about how the prison system is today. But I'm gonna tell you this. Prison is not something for me to talk about, because I did my very best not to conform to the ways of prison. I made it my fucking business to not become institutionalized, because I knew that there was life beyond those walls. I knew that someday I would get the fuck out. I knew that one day I would be released. When? I didn't know, because I was released on my 5th parole board hearing. So I didn't know exactly, carrying a life over my head, when the fuck exactly I was going to be released. But I was. And I'm grateful, and my life has changed drastically beyond belief. Never did I expect that I'll be in the position that I am today. However, with the confidence and the belief that I've always carried with me, once I was released, I put all of my plans into motion, all of my plans into play. I sacrificed a lot. I gave in a lot. But now is my time. And it's been my time for a while, because I've been doing pretty well. It's been my time for a while. But something that I will tell you about prison and how it affected me, and this is going to be brief because this is not what I want to talk about. Prison was gladiator school for me. Prison was an institution when I was growing up that cultivated you and sort of reared you and developed you into being a man. If you wasn't already a man before going to prison, and which I was a young man playing with big boy league type of stuff. You know, not saying that I was some big time anything, or that I was some huge kingpin or anything like that. But for a 14-year-old, under the circumstances that I was when I was out in society prior to becoming incarcerated, I was doing okay. I was surviving, and that was enough for me. My expectations weren't high. I just wanted to be somebody, and I wanted to be somebody in the street. What did that amount to? Nothing. Prison. 17 years of my life taken away. Okay? So that was the result of that. But let me backtrack a little bit. I'm baffled as to the amount of people that are curious about prison. It's amazing how people gravitate to stories about prison or how curious they are about prison. And they don't share that equal amount of curiosity for fucking life. That's crazy. That is crazy. My message is be careful of what you seek, because what's in your core, the universe will develop and deliver to you. And that is the law of attraction. So you need to convert that attraction for a fucking prison system into an attraction for living system, a living system. Because some of you motherfuckers are living foul. You still don't know how to live. You're grown men conducting yourself like children. You still don't even know how to fucking dress appropriately, address your age. You still sagging your fucking pants, looking despicable, a grown-ass man. But in reality, you're really just a grown-ass boy. Because just because you might be older doesn't mean you're an elder, and you warrant that sort of respect, because you don't have that sort of respect for yourself. You're still walking around as if you have no experience in life, or haven't traveled anywhere, or simply just haven't learned anything. I don't talk about prison because of that in itself. There's nothing to fucking talk about. There is nothing to talk about. But what I will tell you this, right? But what I will tell you is this, that I didn't misappropriate my time. Yes, I did my thing. I put my work in. I never joined a gang. Always flew solo. Yeah, I had my peoples that I connected with and broke bread with, which was everybody. It wasn't about a color thing for me. It was about, you respect me, I respect you. You know what I'm saying? And it was just strictly like that. You know, back then it wasn't a thing, oh, because you my man, or we rock together, or because, you know, it was none of that. It was none of that. It was straight love, straight support from the people that I fucked with. And that was a beautiful thing. That was a beautiful thing. But one thing for sure that was most memorable for me and most impactful for me was when I was in Division for Youth, which I was there from the time I blew trial. I was in Spofford. I blew trial in 91, and then I went up top in 91 to about 95, which is when I transferred to corrections, and I winded up in Green as my first correctional stay, you know, prior to, of course, processing and downstate and all that bullshit. But so prior to corrections, I was exposed to the Nation of Gods and Earth, the 5% Nation of Gods and Earth. And I was involved with that movement for the duration of for some of the duration of my time when I was in juvenile detention, which I was in Brookwood. That right there in itself was monumental for me when I gained knowledge of self. And those of you who know what I know how pivotal receiving those lessons and just unlocking those chambers of your mind and developing yourself. That was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. So now fast forward, when I transferred to corrections, of course, like there's bad apples in every bunch, and people, I noticed that they click up, or the 5% is here, and the Bloods here, Cribs, Neanderthals, Kings, and all this other nonsense, right? I shedded my attribute, and I just stood what people knew me of, which was Mo, which is short for my last name. Nothing special. My name wasn't Murder 123 187. None of that fucking nonsense. So I was just Mo, and people knew me as Mo, and people rock with me. They fuck with me. But the nation, and the nation was like becoming a Noah of good and evil. It was about developing yourself. It was about becoming in tune with yourself and learning about yourself. And those fundamentals unlocked keys to the fucking universe, to life itself. And although I haven't practiced it, I haven't looked at my book of life for eons. However, those fundamentals are still ingrained in my mind. And that's how I operate today, because that's in the core of me. That was a pivotal moment of my life and in my development. And so I can't verbalize 120 to you, but I could walk it. You know what I'm saying? I can't verbalize my lesson of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, but I walk it. There's a difference in knowing something intellectually as opposed to experientially. So I don't walk around citing lessons. I don't walk around, as a matter of fact, in today's time, I don't know nobody in the nation, but my point is that I now walk it, I'm a walking book of life. I've embodied those lessons, and those lessons helped me become the man that I am today. It taught me that we are all gods and goddesses. It taught me that you should be the best version of yourself each and every day. You should put your best foot forward each and every day. That you should learn something each and every day. And you should always strive for perfection. Although it may be unattainable. You'll never be 100% perfect. But strive to be. Strive to be the best version of yourself. And try to uplift somebody. Try to teach somebody. So, my point is that I don't knock nobody for what they do or the information that they seek. But you know what? You should be seeking life where you are living life, which is outside in the free world, in the free society, in today's society. You should be dealing with matters that are occurring here and now. You shouldn't want to be, your curiosity shouldn't be invested into what's transpiring in a fucking prison institution or how people live out there if you're out here. Deal with here, perfect this shit, perfect this life. Be curious about here. Be curious about starting a business here, or how to develop a more streams of income for yourself, or how to better communicate or better communicate with your family or your loved ones. Learn how to love better. How about that? Learn how to understand people better. Learn how to love yourself. Learn how to love somebody. These are things that you should be curious about, because the fact of the matter is that a lot of people, they're out here in this free society, but they live worse off than people that's incarcerated. And there's people that's incarcerated that are more freer than you, and you're out here in society. Riddle me that. And that's 100% fact. Because motherfuckers out here create institutions within their own minds. Their own minds are shackled. They're in shackles. They're still experiencing psychological slavery, psychological imprisonment, psychological boundaries that don't allow them to progress or be better. So if you want to be curious about prison, go right ahead. Focus on that. But like I said before, the universe could be a motherfucker, and watch what you attract. And I'm going to leave you on that note. Thank you for watching. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Peace.